and welcome to the Strangely Specific Movie Awards. I'm your host, Drew D'Amelia of Drew and Review. It's very nice to see you again, or, I'm not seeing you. I'm not doing any... Nick, what would I be doing exactly to the audience?
You'd be orating to them.
Yeah, but I want to experience some part of them, but I guess I can't. I literally can't.
I suppose if they leave comments on your Patreon, that's a way to take something from them or communicate.
But, I mean, as of right now, I want to say it's nice to blank, but there's literally nothing nice about the audience because I can't interact with them.
I mean, that's something you're just going to have to live with.
I guess. It's nice that they're listening.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Thank you, all the patrons that have decided that this is worth your time. I think you're going to have a lot of fun today. And Nick, who is with us again, I think is also going to have a lot of fun.
I hope so.
We're both having some summer fun being outside in the sun.
Yes.
Because we have to be, so we don't kill each other and or old people.
And or especially, yeah.
Yeah. So, why don't we just get right into it, Nick? I want to do this first award. Do you want to do this first award?
If you do.
Well, I just said I do.
Okay.
Do you think I'm lying?
I don't know.
I was lying a little bit.
Oh, okay. See, that's why I wanted to check.
I really want to do this first award.
There you go.
That's what I meant to say.
All right.
All right. So the first award for today is Most Useful Disney Cricket.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. What was that? A little more into the mic.
Jesus Christ.
That's not a cricket.
In Passion of the Christ, he became a cricket.
Was that a Disney movie? Disney's The Passion of the Christ?
Yeah.
With animals? Okay.
Yes.
I must have missed that.
Yeah.
I need you to help me out, Nick. Name me some Disney crickets.
Jiminy Cricket.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Oh.
Wait, hang on.
Moo?
Oh, the cricket in Mulan.
Ha-ha, yes! I don't know what that cricket's name is. I'm just going to go ahead and say its name is Mulan Cricket.
Yeah.
That's what I have down here.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, you're familiar with both of these crickets?
Yeah.
All right, we have to decide which one is the most useful. Now, what do you remember about these crickets, Nick?
I remember in Mulan, it didn't really have... It was kind of... I feel like it was sassy in a way, but it didn't talk or anything. It just kind of showed its attitude through movement.
It was a non-vocal cricket, that is true. I would say, though, having seen it a little bit more recently, it's pretty anxious.
Oh.
And it's because it's considered a good luck charm, but because of this, it's constantly thrown into harrowing situations.
Okay.
And clearly, this Mulan cricket does not agree with the consensus that it's a good luck charm, so it's terrified.
Okay.
It doesn't have any confidence in its good fortune abilities.
Does it actually lead to good fortune?
Well, it's debatable, but it has, yes. There have actually been moments it's like, wow, all right. It got an old lady through traffic, but it's debatable if that was luck or because in order to get through traffic, a lot of people that were driving by in their carts just wound up crashing and hurting each other. So it's lucky, but at what cost?
Yeah, I don't know. It's lucky for the person possessing it, but maybe it brings misfortune to those around them.
And I'm trying to... Did the cricket ever contribute anything to the defeat of the Huns? I don't actually remember.
I feel like it might have contributed, like it may have helped Mushu or something.
It probably contributed something. I remember surviving in the avalanche, and Mushu was like, well, gosh there, partner, you sure are lucky.
I was really worried you were going to do a voice there.
That was a voice.
I was really worried you were going to do Eddie Murphy's voice.
I'm sorry, are you saying my Eddie Murphy impression is not up to par?
You know what, now that I think about it, it is.
Thank you. I can't think, though, specifically of a Hun defeating cricket motion. For lack of a better way to phrase that.
It's really hard to imagine a cricket being able to destroy a warrior.
I remember at the very end, they killed the main Hun guy with fireworks. Right. And then Mushu did his laugh, ha 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 hoo hoo hoo, and then went, hey, my cricket friend, you're rather lucky. So it could be implied that the success had to do with the fact that the cricket was accompanying Mulan
Yeah,
and Mushu.
for all we know, the battle could have been totally lost because the cricket wasn't there. We
That's
don't
true.
know.
It's really ambiguous. We can't know if the cricket was truly useful or not.
Maybe there's like an alternate ending somewhere in the vault where like the cricket got stomped on and then Mulan was murdered.
And everyone died. Release the no cricket cut, Disney.
You cowards.
We need to see what would happen without the cricket. But all right, let's move on to Jiminy Cricket.
Yes.
You remember Jiminy Cricket?
He was the moral compass of this little wooden boy.
What? No, Jiminy Cricket was in Fun and Fancy Free.
No. What?
Yeah, Fun and Fancy Free?
He was in Pinocchio.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Was he also in Fun
He
and
actually
Fancy?
was also in Fun and Fancy Free.
I did not remember that.
No one would remember that. Who even remembers that movie?
I mean, to be fair, I watched it as a kid because my grandma owned a fuck ton of Disney VHS tapes, but that was just me.
do you remember my old basement and that was a poster that was up? The
Oh,
funny.
yeah, that's right. It was very random.
I do not know where that poster went, but I don't think it's with us anymore.
The most iconic scene from that still sticks with me is how Goofy, Donald, and Mickey were so poor. They had to eat like a very thin sheet of bread, and then Donald tried to become a cannibal, and it was very
Yeah,
disturbing.
I remember Goofy's song like. I'm not doing it justice.
I don't
I'm actually a
remember.
little embarrassed, really.
Okay.
You should probably get off of Fun and Fancy Free, though.
Just talk about Jiminy Cricket as a character.
Well, honestly, it is fair to include Jiminy Cricket in other properties that he has been a part of, but I don't think he was terribly useful in Fun and Fancy Free. He was a narrator, and that was about it.
Narrators aren't really useful.
Was he useful in Pinocchio? He gave advice, but Pinocchio basically,
Never took it.
yeah. And I'm thinking the one good thing Pinocchio did was try to rescue his father from the whale, but
Right.
I'm not even sure Jiminy Cricket had any useful ideas there. I think he tagged along to be like, go get him, Pinocchio. But
Did he do any kind of action?
he did get a Gatling gun and shoot at the uvula of the whale to buy Pinocchio Geppetto time.
Pinocchio, I'm going down with this whale, but you can still save your dad.
That'll be in the live action Pinocchio that's upcoming.
Finally.
But I don't actually know. It's funny because the Blue Fairy rewarded Jiminy Cricket with a medal saying, you did a really good job being the conscience of Pinocchio. But once again, if I actually think about it, I'm like, but did he? It's implied, just like the Mulan Cricket, that he was useful. But where is the proof? I don't know if Jiminy Cricket necessarily helped Pinocchio, but he was at least there as support. And I can imagine, when you're underwater trying to save your dad, that can be an upsetting experience. It's good to have someone along with you.
Sure.
So I think his company alone was a useful thing, but it's really tough because the cricket in Mulan, it's completely ambiguous if that was useful or not.
Yeah.
But with Jiminy Cricket, you can at least point to, all right, clearly he was at least a little bit useful.
Yeah.
Like, that is for certain. But the thing is, if Jiminy Cricket was at the apex of usefulness and the Mulan Cricket was at the apex of usefulness, then the Mulan Cricket would win out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If it was confirmed Mulan Cricket was causing all that good fortune, Mulan Cricket would sweep this award because Jiminy Cricket at the best saved an old man from a whale. Like, listen, that other cricket saved China. I don't know. It feels a little different.
Yeah. It's
But
hard to say.
That's the thing. We can't confirm anything, and I don't want to make this decision based on speculation.
Very ambiguous.
So it's uneasy.
Can we bring some other factors into the decision?
Sure, what do you have in mind?
How much they look like a cricket. Because you said cricket.
I did say cricket.
Jiminy Cricket looks like a little person with a weird face.
That's true, but if you had to characterize if you had to give Jiminy Cricket a species,
I mean, what if he's not really a cricket and that's just his last name and he's just a very small man?
what if he's an extraterrestrial?
He never says he's an insect or a bug. He's just Jiminy Cricket.
Okay, I mean, that is true, but to be fair, just because the Mulan cricket looks exactly like a cricket, we don't know for sure.
It sounds like a cricket, though. It doesn't speak English.
That's true. Listen, it, for all intents and purposes, looks like a cricket.
Yes.
But what if it's not?
Well, then all the characters are wrong because they all say it's a
everyone
cricket.
could be aliens. That's my point.
Okay.
No, I mean,
Was there a Deus Ex Machina that happened in Mulan that wasn't really explained?
no, actually, I don't think either movie had Deus Ex Machinas.
Okay.
I think
Because I was going to say, if there was no reason for a character succeeding, you could attribute that to the cricket.
that's true. But unfortunately, I mean, you could say that the odds were against Mulan, but Mulan still succeeded of her own volition.
Yes.
I mean, she fought the good fight against an army of Huns.
Yes.
So, I don't know, Nick. What are you feeling? What do you think would get the award in this case?
I'm kind of leaning towards the Mulan cricket, mostly because theoretically it saved all of China, theoretically, and also looks like a cricket.
That's true. I mean, I would say that Jiminy Cricket looks enough like a cricket where I would say he's a cricket. I mean, I don't think I could say that he looks more like another animal.
He doesn't have the weird legs, though.
Well, he's wearing pants, so, I mean...
If he took his pants off...
Release the pantsless cut, Disney.
You cowards! And then it just shows his weird legs bow out.
Oh, Jesus. But, the thing is, I want to give it to Mulan too, but that would be off of speculation.
But I feel like with Jiminy, it's also off of speculation.
Yeah, but I know at the very least, Jiminy Cricket provided some support to Pinocchio, just being there, trying to offer advice. For all I know, the cricket wasn't trying to do anything. If you translate the chirps, it was just going on some rant about how, like, you should invest in Microsoft or something.
You fools aren't listening. It's going to be the biggest thing. What the hell's a Microsoft?
So I feel what you're saying, but I'm feeling Pinocchio. But I always lose ties. So congratulations to Mulan Cricket.
Wait, why do you lose ties?
I don't know. Someone's got to win. You won,
Okay.
and that's fine.
I graciously accept this on behalf of the Disney Corporation.
That's what makes this fun. Is sometimes we just can't reach a consensus. But listen, I feel that. I hope that it's true that the Mulan Cricket wound up saving China, because then it really won the award. But we need that cut released.
Yeah.
We need the no cricket Mulan cut, and if everyone dies a violent death, then we know, like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
just
good.
like the cricket gets taken out, it becomes an R-rated movie.
That's the live action one.
Oh, yeah.
If that ever comes out. But all right, choo-choo, this train's moving right along. I apologize for that train impression. It wasn't very good.
I've heard better.
My heart wasn't in it. But all right, we have a good one. Are you ready for this?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right, the next award is Best Stand-Up Comedy Performance That Mends a Romantic Relationship. How you doing there, buddy?
I just can't contribute.
Oh, I think you can.
Okay.
Obvious Child
Yeah, I know that's one.
and The Big Sick.
Was that Kumail being the stand-up comedian?
Yeah. Have you
Okay.
seen The Big Sick?
Yeah, I did. I thought I saw it with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene of The Big Sick?
I
where-
mostly just remember Ray Romano doing his first serious role.
No, did he not see Everybody Loves Raymond? In the finale, where everyone thought that he was going to die, but he didn't, and he was fine. That was some real serious acting.
Oh.
Because
I'd believe you.
I mean, that's actually true, but I'm not going to die on that hill.
Okay, fair enough.
If you remember in The Big Sick, Kumail's girlfriend was in a coma. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. And he gave a very emotional, but albeit not very funny, stand-up comedy performance that wound up being recorded, and everyone was making fun of it on YouTube and stuff. And when his girlfriend got out of the coma, she wasn't feeling it because, she was in a coma, and before the coma, their relationship was on the rocks. But she wound up seeing that video, and that's what inspired her to give it another chance.
Huh.
So, you remember that?
Vaguely.
Okay, so that stand-up comedy performance mended a romantic relationship. And then An Obvious Child. Help me out with that one.
She, the main actress played by Jenny Slate.
Yeah.
Okay. She was knocked up by this random dude she didn't really know, and she felt too anxious to tell him because she planned on getting an abortion. And then she finally owned up to it during a stand-up set that he decided to show up for, and it kind of warmed him back up to her when he thought he was on his way out.
Yeah. And I remember specifically there was a lot of tension in the relationship because she felt uncomfortable around him, feeling like she had something to say, but she didn't want to say it.
Right. And also she went home with David Cross instead of this nice guy, which is the stupidest choice. Who would ever want to go home with David Cross?
David Cross is a silly boy.
Yeah, I mean, if he was like, hey, get in this car with me and come to my apartment, pretty little lady, I'd be like, police.
Listen, I think it'd be good for a laugh.
Yeah,
Just a
maybe,
chuckle.
but if you tried to, get all up in your grill, I wouldn't be so chill.
Well, I know how I could prevent that from happening. We put on the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, and there's
that
no
would ruin any potential romance.
There's no way David Cross is getting hard watching those. And if he does, then I go, police.
Absolutely.
But both of these stand-up comedy performances mended romantic relationships.
That's true.
So I have to decide which one was the best. Now, there are a lot of ways we can decide this. I mean, what was the best stand-up comedy performance in terms of being funny? What did the best job of mending the romantic relationship? It's tough. If you don't mind, I want to start with just the performance in general and what was the best.
Sure.
Jenny Slate's performance, can't remember her character's name.
Donna.
Yeah.
I remembered it because it was my mom's name. And I was like,
right.
This is weird that someone with my mom's name is getting an abortion.
Get used to it, buddy.
Uh-oh.
But I'm not going to say it wasn't an emotional performance, but she mostly kept it together. She was just a little uncomfortable, but it definitely seemed like she was comfortable enough giving that performance. And so you could tell that she was making jokes, or at least attempting to. And I don't want to be a meanie Maurice here, which is your dad's name. That's the first M-word name that came to mind. I wasn't trying to do a bit.
Okay,
I don't want to be a meanie Maurice to Donna here. But I didn't think it was particularly funny. And honestly, it's not the first. I feel like most movies I've seen, not that there have been many, about stand-up comedians, I just feel, I don't actually think this stand-up comedian is very funny.
I feel like it only works in an ironic sense in a movie like in The King of Comedy where Robert De Niro's so cringy that it's just kind of funny.
But I guess circling back to the performances we do have nominated here, I think Jenny Slate was heartfelt, but it wasn't terribly funny or memorable to me. I mean, it was memorable in the sense of what it meant in the context of the relationship. But as a performance on its own, if I was in the audience and wasn't really keyed into any of the context, I'd just be like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Kumail's, it would be similar because I wouldn't have any context. And his jokes really didn't land either. In fact, they really, really didn't land. But at the same time, I didn't get the impression that he was really trying to tell jokes in the
No,
first place. In
doesn't
fact,
sound like
I think for the most part he wasn't. He was just being really upset to the point of crying. And to me, that was the better stand-up performance because, yeah, it's not funny, so it fails in that way. But I would almost rather see something that isn't even trying to be funny and winds up really moving me emotionally
Sure.
than something that moves me somewhat, but also and fails to be funny.
Right.
One of them just seems like it was more worth my time.
Sure.
So-
How did the audiences react?
I think the audience for Jenny Slate was kind of warm to it, although it wasn't incredible or anything. And the audience for Kumail was just dead silent and
Gotcha.
super uncomfortable with it.
Okay.
So we could also move on to how successfully the romantic relationships were mended. I think they were both mended by it.
Yeah.
Specifically by that particular performance. So I guess it's a question of what had the most mending that needed to be done.
Again, I'm foggy on The Big Sick, but I know An Obvious Child, it required a good amount of mending after the David Cross scene.
Well,
Even though she didn't end up like sleeping with him or anything, the guy thought she did, and so he was like, "Oh, I went all the way to see you for this other stand-up special, and you couldn't be bothered to talk with me because you were trying to bone David Cross." And so he's super distrustful of her and like, "Oh, she's just using me." And then
yeah.
so I feel like she had some work to do.
Yeah, that's true. I will say, though, in The Big Sick, they were more of an item, I think, before shit went down.
Gotcha.
Because I think they were basically a couple. And then in The Big Sick, she found out that he basically had a box of suitors because of his family. And that was really upsetting to his partner. And then she went in a coma. Oh, gosh, the timing.
Rough.
I don't. It's very odd to try to compare. Hey, I'm having an abortion. To hey, my parents come from a different cultural backgrounds and believe that I need to marry someone of my own cultural background.
Yeah.
They're both. It's very strange to try to. Okay, which is worse? I
don't think comparing them is the
no. It's probably not
point.
valuable.
Yeah.
I would probably have to go. I'm not saying worse as in either of them are immoral because I think they're both fine. I
But
guess.
like you mean like traumatic?
Yeah, but that's the thing is that the guy wasn't actually upset over the abortion because the guy didn't know there was. Finding out there was an abortion is what mended the relationship. So the guy wasn't even upset about the abortion.
He was just upset about being boxed out.
So definitely, I think the cultural thing is probably
Yes.
a more heavy thing to be upset
Sure.
about.
Right.
And that relationship had been going on for longer. And on top of that, there was a coma, which isn't necessarily a part of the relationship, but definitely doesn't help.
Not
that,
really.
Your ex-boyfriend, more or less, was bonding with your parents. I think that's definitely... There's a lot of mending that needs to be done in The Big Sick.
Right.
And I think definitely more mending than in Obvious Child. Mm-hmm. And... on top of that, in The Big Sick, I think the stand-up comedy performance was more memorable.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
So they're both movies I really liked. But I don't know. What do you think should get the award here?
I'd say The Big Sick. You've convinced me. I mean, I was kind of already there because Obvious Child didn't do that much for me. I like The Big Sick a lot better as a movie anyway. And then even beyond that to the scene, I feel like it was more effective.
Yeah. All right. So congratulations to The Big Sick for winning this award.
Yep.
It's also the movie All About Nina, but I don't remember it that much. It might have saved their relationship. I don't think so.
Is that the one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Yeah.
Why didn't you bring that up earlier?
I was like thinking about it, but I didn't feel like thinking about the movie.
Okay.
And I don't think it would have won.
All right.
I mean, that very well could be one, or it could not be one at all. Who knows?
All right.
Anyway, moving right along to our last award. Are you ready for this last? I don't care if you're ready. We're just gonna do it, okay?
Oh, okay, fair enough.
All right. Our last award for this episode is Best House Treated as a Substitute to a Wife.
Okay.
You look
first one I
perplexed.
want to say, Smart House. Wasn't that a Disney Channel movie?
Yes, Nick, it was a Disney Channel original movie, and I was not even thinking about that.
I contributed.
I hate you. Put a decom in the running. You son of a bitch.
Chaos.
I don't want to have to talk about smart. Fine. That's too good a nominee to ignore.
That's exactly the parameters you provided.
Yes, it is. Oh, God, I hate you. I hate you so much.
Okay,
All right.
anyway, moving on to yours.
The other two, Monster House
Yes.
and Up.
Yep.
So we have an extremely interesting category here.
What a layout.
Oh, man. Where to begin? I guess the amount of substitution to being a wife. Oh, my God. It probably goes to Smart House.
It's literally the mom.
That's the whole premise of it. Nick, I hate you.
Am I going to give this award to a decon?
I really like Monster House.
I like it too.
And Up is one of my favorite movies ever.
It's amazing.
But Smart House.
It checks the boxes.
Oh, there might not even be an argument here. It's so clearly a better substitute for a wife because it's a single dad and it's a smart house. It's a house that's designed to do things and help out the people that are living there, this single father and his offspring. And the house gets so into the role that it manifests itself as an actual holographic mother, and it starts acting more like a mother.
Yep. Listen, these awards have never been about giving it to a good movie.
No, I know. That's why I'm grunting. Because in Monster House, the house was literally possessed by the spirit of the guy's wife.
Yep.
And Carl Fredricksen in Up probably overall displayed treating the house like a wife more.
He did call the house Ellie, didn't he?
Yeah, multiple times. And like when the house got damaged, very clearly Carl felt that his wife was getting damaged.
Right.
But also, I mean, in Monster House, the house is just more personified as the widow's wife because it was literally the spirit of the guy's wife.
Right.
So I think it was just easier for him to treat that house like a wife because it was his wife.
It was his wife.
It was actually his wife, where in Up, the whole point of it was that the house was not his wife. And that was more moving than any of these movies.
Sure.
But it's not about that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else to add to this discussion?
No.
I guess I would put Monster House just a little bit above Up just because it's a spirit of a wife, so the treatment is just more clearly of a wife.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hold on. I might have an ace in the hole here.
Uh-oh.
It's Best House treated as a substitute to a wife, not a mother. In Smart House, she was very motherly.
She was still a wife, though.
She was, but is that necessarily the same?
It's both.
That not necessarily. Well,
Because we don't know. There could have been, behind-the-scenes stuff where the house made some kind of weird rubber sex puppet for the husband to have relations with and then voiced it.
Because, listen, I mean, she was definitely a substitute for a mom. There's no denying that. But I think we have to define the difference between being a mother and being a wife. Because I don't think that they're the same thing.
They're very distinct roles, but I think she would fulfill both.
Well, and I would say that part of being a good wife is if you have children, you are able to function as a good mother.
Yeah.
So, being a mother is part of being a good wife,
Right.
but not exclusively the only aspect of being a good wife. I mean, also being a good wife is being able to tend to your husband's needs and vice versa, obviously, but I blessedly don't remember if the Smart House acted as a wife that often. Smart House definitely acted as a mother often enough,
Sure.
which counts as acting like a wife. But was there anything else that she did to define her as a wife? Did she specifically, if the husband was feeling overwhelmed, did she? No, I think she. I hate that I'm saying this because it's just it's fucking up my ace in the hole, but I think she did. I think she was there to kind of support the single dad, if my memory serves.
Just wondering, in Monster House, did the widower and his ghost wife ever have kids?
No, they didn't.
Okay, so it's really just Smart House being the mother.
Yeah, but I guess it's a question of how much does being motherly define the role as a wife? Because for me, when I think about being a wife, I do think that being a mother is important, but I mostly think about other things. I think about the relationship between her and the husband,
Sure.
and helping with the kids is one thing, but helping with a lot of other things matters too.
Right.
Like, just helping each other out, uplifting each other, being there for each other. And I don't know that the Smart House wife did that a lot.
What's the exact category again?
Sorry, it's best house treated as a substitute to a wife. That's the other.
So it's more about how the husband's treating it.
Yes, and the house might have acted like a mother, but I don't think the husband. The whole conflict in that movie was that people are becoming uncomfortable with the house trying to be a mother. They're like, "You're not our mom." So
Oh,
I don't think the husband really treated the house as a substitute to his wife. There might have been moments where
wasn't
the
he
house,
more willing to accept it than the kids, though?
he was willing to accept it as technology because I think he was the one that had invented it.
Oh.
But I don't when it started stepping into the role as a wife, I'm not sure it even stepped into the role as a wife that much. But even when it did, I don't think that there are many moments of the husband reciprocating that and being like, yes, I am treating you like a wife. Because the husband was fighting against the house by the end of the movie.
Okay.
So, Nick,
Oh.
I don't think
Oh.
that this house was treated as a substitute to a wife.
Reversal.
Oh, this
Real
feels good.
turnaround.
This feels good.
All right. I think I'm willing to concede like Robert E. Lee at the end of the Civil War.
Listen, I had to work for that.
You did. That was hard work. That was some serious jumps you made.
But I still don't even think I could give it to Up, which is the movie I prefer. I do think I'd have to give it to Monster House, which is fine. Dan Harmon, Rob Schraub.
Wait, Dan Harmon wrote it?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And it looks like crap, but
Yeah, it does.
it's still a fun movie. I like
Yeah.
it a lot. I like to see there's something I want a live action version of just so I don't have to look at the
that
animation.
shitty animation, yeah.
Or let's just do let's do a Lion King where it's just another animated version, but this
better.
time we'll go for less realism.
Yeah. So it's not horrifying.
Yes. But I think hold on, wait. There's one other thing we need to consider though.
Okay.
That it says best house treated as a substitute to a wife. Now in Monster House, if the house is the spirit of the wife, is it truly a substitute?
Oh.
Because it is technically the wife, right? I mean, it obviously
It's her spirit.
It is, and it can't do a lot of wifely things.
Sure.
That's true. It can't talk the widow out of suicide. A common wifely thing to do.
Yeah, right.
But it is still technically the wife. It is a piece of the wife that a sentience of the wife. It is the wife's spirit, and you see the ghost of the wife leave the house at the end of the movie.
That's true.
So, in Up, it's more of a substitute, isn't it?
Because Ellie's not really there.
No, it's unless I missed something in the movie. Ellie's ghost is not possessing the house.
He buried her bones under the floorboards, and her ghost haunts it. Just so
You see the bones fall out.
and the police are like, "Oh my god, there's blunt force trauma to the skull."
Did you see like a graveyard underneath the house?
He was a serial killer. He's got the bones of 40 missing boys here.
My God, that's what happened to the school kids on that field trip.
He was the serial killer known as the backyard strangler.
The balloon man.
He killed his victims with helium.
He would lure them in with the balloons. Oh man, that's like it. But all right. Do we give it to Up?
But I gotta say, Smart House was a literal substitute.
It was. That's true. It was, in fact, a literal substitute. But in that case, it's a matter of treated like a substitute. And I would still think that in terms of being treated like a substitute and in terms of being a substitute, Up covered both of those better than the other two movies.
All right, so to be clear, the parameters are best house treated like a substitute of a wife.
Yes, best house treated as a substitute to a wife. And my argument is in Smart House, it was truly a substitute to a wife, but it was not treated like a substitute to a wife. In Monster House, it was treated like a wife, but not truly a substitute to a wife, where in Up, it was treated as a substitute to a wife.
Wow. All right. What a twist. Dang. All right. So I guess if that's the case, you've presented a compelling argument. I'm going to have to lean towards Up now. You really turned this around in your favor.
Honestly, I didn't think it would go this way. I really didn't, but I'm proud of myself. And I'm not even trying to manipulate it to be Up as the winner.
No, I get it. I understand. I'm not saying you rigged it. I'm just impressed.
Have we thought of everything? Can we give it to Up?
Yeah. Well, Up gets it.
All right. That makes me happy. Congratulations to Up.
And Disney's second award this episode.
Wow, congratulations, Disney. You need the praise.
Yep.
And that concludes today's episode. That was a lot of fun, Nick. I had fun.
Me too.
And I hope you had fun, our listeners. Thank you so much for being a patron. Donating goes such a long way, and it means so much to me that you've decided that it is worth donating to Drew and to Review. And hopefully this podcast is a fantastic perk for you, especially this episode. I think it's actually wound up being pretty dang good. I'd give it a 3 out of 10.
Maybe a 4 even.
You know what? 3.2 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
No, you're right. 4 out of 10?
Yeah, I'd say so.
No, that's getting greedy.
Okay.
I don't want to be arrogant.
Yeah. Okay, maybe 3.3?
How about like 8?
8 out of 10?
No, 4. We'll do 4.